Hey guys, it's Dominic here, and welcome back to another deep dive into the wild world of internet history. Today, we're exploring a story that's as fascinating as it is bittersweet. A story about creativity and the fleeting nature of fame in the digital age. If you've ever found yourself quoting a 6-second video or laughing at a meme that started on a now defunct app, you're about to take a trip down memory lane. Back in 2013, the internet was buzzing with new possibilities. Smartphones were everywhere, and people were hungry for new ways to connect, share, and be entertained. That's when a brand new app bursted onto the scene. One that would change the way we thought about video forever. It was short. It was punchy. It was unlike anything we'd ever seen. Vine was revolutionary. The idea was simple. Create and share videos that lasted just 6 seconds. But those 6 seconds were enough to spark creativity like never before. Suddenly, anyone with a phone could become a comedian, a storyteller, or a viral sensation. The looping format made every second count, and the challenge of fitting a joke, a story, or a punchline into such a tiny window led to some of the most memorable internet moments of the decade. Vine didn't just entertain, it launched the careers of internet icons. Names like King Bach, Lele Pons, and Shawn Mendes became household names, all thanks to their 6-second masterpieces. The app created a cultural phenomenon with millions of users around the world sharing, remixing, and quoting vines. It felt like the future of entertainment was here, and it was happening in the palm of your hands. But as quickly as Vine rose to fame, it began to unravel. Just 3 years after its rise, the app was shut down, leaving fans and creators stunned. So what went wrong? Why did a platform that was so beloved, so innovative, and so ahead of its time crash and burn so quickly? Was it competition from other social media giants? Mismanagement behind the scenes, or simply the changing tides of internet culture? The answer is a mix of all of these things, and more. For many, the end of Vine felt like the end of an era, a reminder of how fast things can change online. This is the story of the rise and fall of Vine, a 6-second experiment that left a lasting mark on the internet culture, and a cautionary tale about how even the brightest stars can fade away in the blink of an eye. Let's rewind to the year 2012. A time when the world was just beginning to realize the power of smartphones. Back then, the digital landscape looked very different from what we know today. Social media was dominated by platforms like Facebook and Twitter, and YouTube was the king of online video, with creators uploading lengthy vlogs and elaborate sketches. People were still getting used to the idea of carrying a tiny computer in their pockets, and the concept of sharing your life in real time was just starting to take off. In the midst of this rapidly changing world, 3 entrepreneurs, Dom Hoffman, Russ Yusupov, and Colin Kroll, were working on something that would soon change the way we communicate online. Their idea was deceptively simple, a video sharing app that allowed users to record and share looping videos, but with a twist. The videos could only share 6-second long videos. This limitation, they believed, would spark a new kind of creativity and force people to think outside the box. At first, the idea seemed almost counterintuitive. In a world where everyone was used to long YouTube videos, detailed Facebook status updates, and endless scrolling, why would anyone want to be limited to just 6 seconds? It was a bold move, one that many people didn't understand at first. But sometimes the most revolutionary ideas are the ones that break all the rules. Twitter was always on the lookout for the next big thing. They saw the potential immediately. Even before the app had officially launched, Twitter swooped in and acquired Vine for a reported $30 million. It was a huge bet on a brand new concept, and it sent shockwaves through the tech world. Suddenly, everyone was talking about Vine and what it could mean for the future of social media. By 2013, Vine officially launched on the App Store. Almost overnight, it became a sensation. People everywhere went downloading the app, eager to see what all the buzz was about. The 6-second format was unlike anything else out there, and it quickly captured the imagination of a new generation of creators and viewers alike. For creators, the 6-second limit wasn't restriction, it was a challenge. It forced them to be concise, clever, and original. Suddenly, anyone with a smartphone and a good idea could become a content creator. Despite Vine's explosive popularity and its status as a cultural phenomenon, trouble was brewing beneath the surface. Millions of users were hooked on the app, creating and sharing 6-second videos that went viral overnight. Vine was everywhere, on phones, in conversations, and even in the news. But behind the scenes, the platform's future was far from secure. Twitter, Vine's parent company, was struggling to figure out how to turn all the attention into actual profit. The app was a sensation, but Twitter's leadership had no clear plan for making money. They watched as Vine's user base exploded, but the dollars just weren't following. There were no in-app ads to generate revenue, no sponsored content, no creative ways to bring in cash, For creators, there was no revenue sharing, no brand deals built into the platform. Viners were building massive followings, some with millions of fans hanging on their every post. But behind the scenes, these internet stars were making little to no money from their hard work. Their videos were being watched by millions, but their bank accounts didn't reflect their influence. Unlike YouTube, which had a well-established partner program that paid creators for their content, Vine offered nothing. There was no way for creators to earn a living directly from the app. As YouTube stars cashed in on their videos, Viners were left wondering how long they could keep going without compensation. Frustration boiled over. Top Viners banded together, warning Twitter that unless they were paid for their work, they'd have no choice but to leave. The creators who had built Vine's audience were now demanding a share of the success they helped create. In a bold move, a group of the top 18 creators proposed a $1.2 million deal to stay on Vine and keep producing content. They wanted to be compensated for the massive audiences they brought into the platform. But Twitter said no. The company refused the deal, believing Vine could survive without its biggest stars. Instead, creators took their talents elsewhere. They flocked to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere where they can monetize their creativity and connect with their fans. These platforms welcomed them with open arms, offering new opportunities and, most importantly, a way to get paid for their work. Without its top stars, Vine quickly lost its spark. The app that once felt alive with creativity and energy became a shelf of itself, quiet, empty, and fading fast. The cracks in Vine's foundation had grown too wide to ignore, and the platform's down. And then came the competitors. Instagram rolled out 15-second videos, Snapchat stories exploded, YouTube remained the king of long-form video, and Vine, it stayed the same. No innovation, no algorithm, no discovery tab, just 6-second loops while the rest of the industry evolved. Internally, Vine was plagued by mismanagement. The creators, Hoffman, Yusupov, and Kral, eventually left or were let go. Morale declined, features stalled. Twitter, bleeding from other ventures, shifted focus away from Vine. By late 2016, Twitter had seen enough. On October 27th, 2016, Twitter announced it was shutting Vine down, just like that. The app that defined a generation of internet humor was officially dead. There was shock, outrage, nostalgia, but the damage was done. Vine had failed to evolve, failed to pay its stars, failed to keep up, and it paid the ultimate price. The shutdown sparked a migration. Creators moved to YouTube and Instagram. Vine's DNA lived on in TikTok, which learned from Vine's mistakes, monetization, algorithmic discovery, and creator support. Ironically, TikTok succeeded by doing what Vine couldn't. And by the time Twitter tried again with Vine's successor, Byte, later renamed Clash and then Huddles, it was a little too late. So why did Vine shut down? It wasn't just because of competition. It was a mix of poor monetization, leader turnover, lack of innovation, and ignoring the needs of its creators. Vine was never supposed to die. It just wasn't allowed to grow. It became a cautionary tale in Silicon Valley, a reminder that popularity doesn't always mean profitability. But its legacy, that lives on in TikTok, in memes, in culture, in 6-second videos that changed everything. I'm Dominic, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching.